Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. In previous recording, we have discussed about different branches of chemistry that we come across in our life. Now we are moving towards the next very important topic, that is differentiation between branches of chemistry. Okay, you got to know about there are different branches in which we studied about analytical, organic, inorganic, physical, environmental, nuclear, industrial, and all that, biochemistry, etc. So there were individually discussed materials, but what about if we are going to differentiate between different branches of chemistry, taking a one single compound, so that we get to know what is exactly the difference between the branches. Like, for example, how to identify a branch of chemistry in a single compound. Like, if you are given a single compound and a certain chemical reaction or process is displayed in front of you, are you able to identify which branch of chemistry it is dealing with? That is what we are studying today. Starting by taking example of acetic acid, commonly called as vinegar, which is one of the very important or routinely available household component or kitchen component in your houses. So we take a very basic example of vinegar that has the chemical formula CH3COOH. So it is a type of acid because it is showing some acidic properties. Now discussing how to identify a branch of chemistry in acetic acid. First of all, if we are studying about transformation into gaseous or liquid states, let's say we are boiling this acetic acid or we are going to freeze it, so it is definitely going to either get into a solid state, because if you see, vinegar is normally found in a liquid state. So when we have a liquid thing in front of us, and what is going to happen if we are going to boil it? So it will definitely vaporize, or it will be converted into gaseous state. Or what if I'm going to freeze it? It will get solidified. So when it is changing or transforming its structure from gaseous to solid state, that is change in the state of matter, that is something which is studied under physical chemistry. Now we have same acetic acid, and we are going to study its nature, like what is it made of. I have already explained that it is CH3COOH. So we have carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen in it. And any compound which is having carbon and hydrogen both together, we name it as organic. So that's why acetic acid is basically studied under organic chemistry. Then we have, for example, oxygen as well, and we have already discussed that oxygen is something which is inorganic in nature. And when it is inorganic in nature and we are going to study the oxygen ingredient of acetic acid, that means it is also involving inorganic branch or inorganic chemistry. Then we take this acetic acid as a part of our food as well. So when we were discussing about biochemistry, we said all the food that we eat is mostly biochemical in nature. Why? Because it is having the organic compound. So its interaction with other chemicals inside our human body after consumption involves biochemistry. So definitely when you are going to have it as a part of food, it is not going to stay there as acetic acid. Rather, it will definitely be converted into some other state by chemically reacting with any other compound. So when an acetic acid is going inside your body and becoming a part of a biochemical reaction, so definitely we are going to study it under biochemistry. Next thing, if we have if we look upon its benefits, so definitely it's a very useful component. So that's why it is present in the market. And from where the market got it? Definitely from the industries. So when it was manufactured at large scale, so that's why we call it as industrial compound, or we study it under the terms of industrial chemistry. Then you can see that there's a study of effect of radioactive radiation on this compound or its components. For example, if this is the same compound having CH3COOH composition, and it is placed in some sort of area that is having some sort of radioactive radiations. So what will happen? Definitely those radiations are going to transform its structure, or there will be shift in bonds. That is because of the nuclear or radioactivity present around it. So when this composition or a compound is changing with the help of some sort of radiations around it, then the effect that those radioactive radiations are putting on this compound or its components, that will be studied under nuclear chemistry. Then you can see study of its positive or negative effects on environment is called as environmental chemistry. For example, if we are putting it into the crops directly, what is going to happen? The acid thing is definitely going to decrease the pH of your soil, and that is something that is very much harmful for the crops, for the plants that are seedlings which are present under the soil. So that's why these are also having some negative effects if thrown directly into the fields. Similarly, if the same acid is thrown just directly into the water, it is changing its pH. And when the water has a changed pH, definitely it is not suitable for drinking, for both as well as for human beings and animals. Then there is methods and instruments used to determine its percentage composition. For example, when we talk about something which is acidic, we actually talk about percentage wise. Like when we are saying like 100% acid, that means it is having no dilution at all. It is having no water content at all. But if we are going to add water in the acid, it is actually lowering down its percentage composition from 100 to somehow depending on the water we are adding in. For example, we have like 50% of water and 50% of acid. That means that half of its contents have been replaced by water and half is the material that is present as an acid. So its percentage composition automatically goes down when we are adding water. So how much percentage wise, what is the acidity of the or concentration of the acid, that is something we have to find with some pH meter and some instruments and all that. And then if you are interested about knowing its melting point, boiling point, etc., then that is all we are studying under analytical chemistry. So that was all about one single compound, that how to identify a branch of chemistry in a single compound, taking example of acetic acid. Now there's a bunch of questions for you as a self-assessment exercise practice to identify the branch of chemistry that is related to forming information. For example, we have sulfur dioxide gas that destroys the stone and marble when falls on it mixed with rain. So what is it? Definitely the answer will be, it's your environmental chemistry. So there is some chemical compound that is destroying your environment with the help of rain, that is environmental chemistry. Then we have bread that we eat is composed of polysaccharides which provide us energy. That is called as what? Like that is what branch of chemistry that is dealing with this section? Definitely we are talking about food. We are talking about starch. We are talking about polysaccharides. That is all the biochemical. So we are having energy with the help of food by breaking down the food, and that is chemical reaction that is taking place inside our body in the form of respiration or digestion. So these are related to biochemical reactions and in turn related to biochemistry. Then we have the third term, that is thermometer is an instrument which is used to control the temperature during chemical reaction. And don't forget, thermometer is some sort of instrument that is used in a chemical reaction. And instruments and tools that we study for chemical reactions come under the topic of analytical chemistry or in analysis. So that was all about today's class. That was about different branches and all that. That is stuff related to different chemical branches of chemistry. Thank you.